Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 8-7 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Oh man, I was so annoyed with that late equalizer, especially after we played such an amazing first half and going into halftime 0-0. Wow, Waka, welcome back to another match reaction. Arsenal go through to the semifinals to face Chelsea in a two-legged tie. But man, this was such an unnecessary penalty shootout. Uh, We were amazing in that first half, man. For weeks, we've been seeing Arsenal play horrible football, slow, not enough chances created, and everything that at least I wanted to see from Arsenal, they did in that first half, except for scoring goals. The chances that we created, man, we made their goalie look great because from the Jesus header, all the other shots were too close to him and just not finished well enough so he could save him. And it was just a horrible first half, man, when it comes to our chances. We were so great, man. Martinelli had the time of his life on the left wing. He was amazing. That right back, man, he's gonna have nightmares all night just because of him seeing Martinelli dribble past him like 100 times. He spun him, he put him on the ground, he created some great chances for his teammates. But yeah, man, we just didn't finish. For weeks, people were talking about Jesus being back and he plays well and whatever. The only reason I wasn't excited by him is because he was finishing like he's always been doing. He didn't finish his chances. Madueke, another player that looks good on the dribble and whatever, but his end product isn't good enough. So yeah, it was just so annoying, man. We were so great that first half, and we didn't finish our dinner. We should have been up like 2 or 3-0 at the half. The starting lineup was definitely a changed one, except for we had Kepa obviously on goal or in goal. We had Kepa. He didn't really put a foot wrong. The goal that we eventually conceded wasn't his fault. Maybe during the penalty shootout, he could have done better on some of those shots, maybe not commit so early. We had Timber as right back, who also had a couple of chances. He was very nonchalant with his last one. I really don't like that. Saliba, sloppy, gave away a stupid foul that led to their 1-1. Really stupid one, wasn't necessary. Fury, he did okay in the set. He was going forward a lot, but we picked it up. Their chance in the first half was partially because he was dragged out of position by Mateta. He was defending like a fullback at that moment, thinking that he had enough cover behind him. But because Timber was already high, Saliba was left alone, and there was no one really to help cover because Norgard had to cover a lot of ground and Ketty is faster than him. But other than that, I don't think Calafiori put a foot wrong. MLS had ups and downs. He had some good dribbles, held the ball too long a couple of times. But overall, I feel like if I had to rate him, it would be a 6.5, 7, because he did do a lot of good things on the ball. He was solid in defense, just gave away a couple of sloppy balls. Norgard came in. He did a really great job the whole match. He was linking up. He had one mistake that luckily didn't lead to a goal against. But other than that, he had a really great game. I really like the way he uh, did his job as a six. He was tidy. He was passing the ball around, doing his thing, nothing too flashy. He had a couple of missed hit passes here and there, but he's human after all, so that's not a big problem. I feel like he really did a solid job there. Marino, he was good in the midfield. I feel like attacking wise, he could have done a bit more, maybe also ghost into the box a couple of times to maybe get his head on the end of one of the crosses. Eze had a couple of moments here and there, wasn't at his sparkling best, but he was part of our fluid attacking side in the first half, so I didn't feel like I was annoyed by him. The thing that I really didn't like was the fact that they took Eze off and kept Marino on. I feel like put Norgard as the six and then Eze and Ødegaard on at the same time. For me, I really wanted to see Eze and Ødegaard in the midfield together with Norgard as the base. Maybe more fluid football from us, create more chances. But of course, he took Eze off for Ødegaard, just like for like substitutions. Would have been better to just try and kill off the match, and we got punished for it eventually. Jesus, like I said, he's great at linking up and whatever, but his finishing is just not good enough. Kind of like we are used to. Madueke, same thing. Great player, but not great finishing. Martinelli, oh man, that first half. Martinelli really is my guy, and he was on it, man. The way he was twisting that player up. He was putting in good crosses. He was really on it in the first half. Unfortunately, he did get a knock at the end of the first half. You could tell during the second half that he wasn't fully on it. Got subbed off for Trossard. I don't feel like Trossard gave us that Trossard off the bench performance that we are used to. He was involved in some of the link up play, some of the chance creations, but that killer thing wasn't there, man, for Trossard today. When it comes to our other subs, Odegaard came on. He kind of did the Odegaard thing. He had a couple of breakaways where he had the wrong decision, especially the one where he puts Rice into the corner. I was like, Saka was on the right earlier, just play him in. And just a couple of those moments where I was like, why are you playing it to him? Why not the other position? Because it just didn't happen. Who else came on? Rice came on. Didn't have too much of an impact on the game. We had other than that, who came on? We had Jesus come off, but that was for Rice. Uh, SA came off. Martinelli came off. Madueke came off. Of course, Saka came on. Saka didn't get too much of the ball. His corner did lead to a 1-0 own goal from Lacroix. And other than that, Saka couldn't really get into the match. In important moments, they chose other options. And maybe if they had played the ball to Saka, we could have done a lot more. I feel like the thing I wanted to see at some point, especially, was the Ødegaard, Eze, and Norgard midfield. Then we then later on, because that didn't happen, when Jesus started to tail off, I wanted to see Gyökeres come on. He didn't do that. He put Rice on and then Marino up front. I was like, why? Why not just go for that second goal, finish them off? We didn't. Saliba made a stupid mistake. The free kick was a mess because Lerma was just free at the back post. Someone lost him in the melee. He heads it towards the goal. Gay gets in front of everybody and he puts it in between Kepa's legs. 1-1. And you just knew from there on we were going to go to penalties. Arsenal kind of tried, but nothing too much. Like I said, we were just really wasteful in front of goal. Penalties come on. Normally, when the penalties happen like that, and the team that scores the equalizer later on has a bit of an advantage. Luckily for us, that didn't happen. The first 7 penalties from both sides were amazing. The goalies didn't do too well with maybe sometimes just holding their position and then reacting because not all of the penalties were like perfectly in the corner. Some of them were just waiting for the goalie movement and then putting it in the other corner. But yeah, the penalties weren't great from the keeper side. We scored our 8th penalty, and then it's the man who has a really horrible night. Lacroix again gets to the spot, and Kepa saves it. 8-7. Arsenal go through to the semifinals. We really needed to play better in the second half because they came out really with a better game plan, pinned us down in the first part of that second half. It did open up later on. We scored. We had chances to put some distance in between us and Palace. We didn't do it, but luckily we go through. Some people were rested, so hopefully at the weekend they can do their best again with Jokeres and especially Zubamendi, who really needed a rest the way he was playing. So yeah, let's just hope at the weekend we can see some of that fluid football from the first half, but with better finishing. Other than that, that was the match reaction. We are through to the next round. Let's get Chelsea out of there and go on our way to the final. But first, we have a lot of matches in between there. Let's just make sure that we keep this winning streak going against our opponents at the weekend. I don't know who we're playing on the top of my head, but we just need to win. We just need to keep winning. Hopefully, City slip up, Villa slip up, and we can just open up a gap. Continue in the Carabao Cup when we face Chelsea. Get our way into the FA Cup beginning of the year. But for now, have a Merry Christmas or Hanukkah, or whatever you're celebrating. Even if you're not celebrating, just have nice days. Just enjoy yourself. And I'll see you guys on Saturday after the match. Peace.